Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hey y'all, and welcome to Straight Up with MS and all its crazy little circles here on MS&Me Radio, brought to you by the MS Global Support Network. I'm your host, Patty Long, at MS and It for Life, and that's what we're doing. We have MS and it's for life. There is no cure at this moment, although I'm really hopeful that at some point in our lifetimes we will see a cure, because they're getting closer to doing things. We even have a disease modifying therapy now out there for primary progressive and secondary progressive MS, which is absolutely amazing. And I've been hearing some really wonderful things about it. So, keep that in mind. And how are y'all doing with your New Year's resolutions? I know that mine has been just all over the place. I'll do really good one day and then lousy the next, and then halfway decent, and then a little better, and then lousy again, and it's like, oh gosh, how am I ever going to get there? But I am still working on my room. I haven't gotten any further on figuring out which video camera to get because, well, I'm very bad at making decisions. I have a hard time deciding if I'm hungry. I have a hard time deciding when I am hungry if I want to eat chicken or beef or what I want to have, and these decisions are just like mind-boggling because they should be simple, but they're not. They're just not. And so, I have trouble with these things. So bear with me because I will get it going. It's just taking me longer. I really want to get out to a store and hold them and look through them and see them. And I've been having trouble doing that lately. So, matter of fact, I haven't been in a store, oh gosh, in at least a month. And it drives me crazy not being able to go to a store. Just like it's driving me crazy being stuck in the house. It's been way too cold. And my pond was frozen. It looked like one big giant ice sculpture. And I live in South Carolina where it's supposed to be sunny and warm, and in the winters it's usually, in the 40s and 50s, not in the 20s and the teens. So this has been a real problem, and I actually had my second muscle spasm attack from the cold, and here we are still in January. So that wasn't really a good positive day, but it happened and life goes on. We have to continue on, and so that's what I do. I keep on keeping on and keep on trying and keep on working on my exercises. I have tried to put a routine together. I start out in the mornings making coffee and doing what I call heel toes, where you go up on your toes and then back on your heels while holding onto the counter. And this helps strengthen my legs and my feet. So I do this, and then after I do these heel toes, then I do the butt kicks, where you stand on one leg and you lift the other one up, and it's basically in a way like you would be kicking your own butt. So That's why I call them butt kicks. And so I've been doing pretty good at getting those in and doing a few of my other exercises as well. But I'm not doing as well as I should. So I'm really working hard on getting this routine going, which was the first step of my New Year's resolution, was to have an actual routine. And I'm struggling with that. I really am. And then you throw a little monkey wrench in there, and wow, bam, it's done. It's finished, and I'm gone for days, and I can't help but disappear because I just don't even. I don't have any energy. I don't have any comprehension skills, and so I just sort of disappear. And this is part of what my life is now. It's not what I had planned. It's not something that I ever expected. It just is what it is. And, I can think back now and remember stuff without it really bothering me. And for a long time, I couldn't think at all about the time before I got sick because it was so upsetting. And now I can think back and I can laugh at some of that stuff, although I cannot really think back at the beginning and the middle of those days with MS when I had the really crappy doctor that wasn't doing anything for me, because that will make me mad or irritate me in ways I don't want to be irritated. So I don't think about it. Very rarely do I think about those things. And I stick with the happy thoughts. And that brings me on to a little story that I thought I'd share with you guys. When my son was in 5th grade, they had to do a science fair project. And nobody wanted to do science fair projects, and my kids were as big a procrastinator as I am. So, here it is, kind of last minute, and my son still hadn't done his, and had just decided what he wanted to do. But once he decided, we went and did it. He went for, on the first project that he did, he decided to get a box of chocolate chip cookies. And he went for the chewy chocolate chip. Let's see, how do you call them? Chewy Chips Ahoy's chocolate chip cookies. I can say it. It's a mouthful, y'all. Really. I mean, the cookies are a mouthful. So why shouldn't the name, right? But he got these cookies and he broke them into pieces, and he put some of them in a round Tupperware container and some of them in a square Tupperware container. And we went to the store. And this was a little store down the road from us, a little convenience store. And we know a lot of people in the area. So we went in and we talked to the girl behind the counter who we did know. And we asked her if he could do his science fair experiment at the store. And she was like, well, what kind of experiment? And he looked at her and he says, well, I'm doing one to see if people can tell the difference between these yummy chocolate chip cookies and these yucky chocolate chip cookies. And she said, well, I want to see if I can tell the difference, which is which. And he said, well, that's the thing. You've got to tell me. And so she got one of the cookies out of one container, and then she got a cookie out of the other container. And when she got the cookie out of the second container, she knew instantly it was the yucky store brand kind. It wasn't the good kind of chocolate chip cookies. And my son and I both about cracked up, but we kept our composure. And he's really good at it. He can keep a straight face through anything. Me, it's my emotions are a little bit more all over my face, so I would have to turn sometimes because there's just no way, But Jackie knew that the first one was the good kind, and the second one she ate was the yucky kind. And then person after person came into the store, and we asked them if they'd like to do a taste test. And nearly everybody did. And their reaction was just priceless. We had one guy that took a bite out of the cookie and started spitting it out and sputtering and yuck, yuck, that is so gross. Ooh, and he starts rubbing his tongue to get all the crumbs off his tongue because this piece of a cookie was just so nasty. And why was it nasty? Because we told him that there was a nasty one. And then he took one out of the other container and he says, "Oh, this is much better. Can I have 2 of these?" And we're like, "Sure, we put you through all that. You might as well." And then a little while later, this lady comes in and she tells us, "No, I can't do a taste test because I'm allergic to chocolate." And we said, "Oh, well, we don't want you to eat something you're allergic to." And she said, "But I can tell just by looking at them. You see the way these chocolate chips are? And then you look over here and you see the way these chocolate chips are. See, they're different. This is the Yummy name brand, and that is the store brand. I can tell just by looking at them." "Really? You can tell by looking at them? Wow, you are good." And she left really pleased with herself while we cracked up as she walked out the door. I mean, it was just so funny because everybody seemed to think that one of the cookies, was yucky. One of these cookie pieces. Now, they were the exact same cookie, but we told them that they were different. And we told them that one of them tasted really yucky and the other one was really yummy. And so everybody would taste the cookies and pick one to be yucky because we told them one was yucky. And this one guy, he was really funny because he actually started gagging and throwing up after eating a yucky cookie. And me and my son were like, "Oh my gosh, is he allergic to this or what did we do to him?" But it was all the power of persuasion. Out of the entire day there, we only had just one person to say they could not tell a difference between the 2 cookies and that they thought they were the same. So we had one person that got it right and probably 100 people that, or close to 100 people that thought one was disgusting and one was yummy. And the girl, Jackie, that was behind the counter, when we finally let her in on it, she laughed and laughed and laughed. She thought it was great. And, of course, when we put it all on a poster board and all of that kind of stuff, which I did help my son with it because, like I said, he's a procrastinator like I am. So, we kind of worked on the poster board together and he wrote the things out and then I helped him place all the cards and stuff so that they would all fit and be in order. And then he glued them down and put the pictures of the cookies and stuff like that he'd cut out of magazines or sales papers or wherever, and he took it to school. His teacher loved the project, and she didn't have any idea where he came up with this idea, and he's like, it was mine, and it was his, and she was like, this is such a fantastic project. So he won for the 5th grade. And that's not saying a whole lot because we only had 2 classes of 5th grade, but he did win. So he got to go on to the next level, and they wanted to redo his poster board to make it much prettier and nicer. And I think really, when it's a kid's project, you should leave it looking like a kid did it. I did help him, but it was all in his handwriting. It was all what he said. It was all what he discovered. So when you start changing those things, it's not as good to me. I like it when the kids do their own work, and mom and dad, teachers can give assistance, can give guidance, but I think the kids need to kind of do their own work. But he went to the next level with his project, and I was just really excited that his project was that successful, and that's the power of persuasion. And so I have to persuade myself to stick to my schedule, because the schedule will help me in the long run, because once I keep it up for day after day after day, it becomes routine, and I have persuaded myself into this routine. So when we think about the power of persuasion, and we think about people's mindsets and peer pressure, it's all kind of the same thing. And so, maybe if one doesn't work, you can try the other. So persuade yourself to do what you got to do. Persuade yourself to, in my case, get up each morning and do my heel toes, my butt kicks, get my coffee, and then move on to the rest of my exercises. And even the ones that are hard. Leg lifts are extremely difficult. It's all about your thighs, and my thighs are really weak, so it's really difficult. So I'll put them off and put them off and put them off, and I need to use the tricks so that I'm not putting them off, so that I have persuaded myself to do these difficult things each and every day, which, like I said, I've been really slack at and lousy at. And I'm trying. It's not that I don't try, it's that I'm just not there yet. And I got to be patient with myself, and y'all need to be patient with yourselves. Change does not happen overnight. And we can't change that mindset. We cannot automatically just feel better. It takes time, and it can take a lot of time. And so we have to be patient with ourselves when we screw up and don't get something done that we meant to. It's on my schedule to do these leg lifts, and I haven't done them in 5 days now. So, oh my gosh, has it been that long? I guess it has. I'm looking at my exercise list. So it's been 5 days since I did them. And that's not a good thing. I should be doing them every day. I tell people all the time, you need to exercise. I tell them the types of exercise that they need to do is going to be slow and simple and steady movements. And form is essential to exercise, because if you're using the wrong form, you could hurt yourself. So if you're leaned over while you're doing a leg lift, you're probably going to have a very hurt back. And nobody wants to be in more pain. We're in enough pain. You know, a lot of us can't even sleep because of the pain. We call it painsomnia. We've even given it a name. And this sort of pain that keeps us awake at night is often just our central nervous system not knowing how to go to sleep, not knowing how to calm down. And so it keeps on giving false signals that makes our body twitch or makes us hurt, or both, causes spasms and bad spasms at times. So I suggest, if you've got painsomnia, and that's the reason you don't sleep at night, that you go and see a doctor, because there are things that he can do to help. Now, the MS medicines for these things, the actual MS drugs, the baclofen, which is a very popular muscle relaxer for people with MS. That is so strong that, and it doesn't come in a smaller dose, you know, so baclofen is not one that I can take. And if I do, I'm in the fog all day the next day. And I don't want to be in the fog. I want to be able to think, you know, and I'm getting to where I can think better. So I certainly don't want to go backwards by taking a medication that puts me in the fog. And baclofen will put you to sleep, and it will stop muscle spasms during the night because of how dead asleep you are. But it doesn't calm your central nervous system, so you can still end up hurt. What I do is, and my doctor has given me a prescription for gabapentin to take at night, and it's a small dose. And then I have a small dose of diazepam, and I take the two of those together at night, and that calms my central nervous system, plus it calms the muscles. And then I don't hurt myself during the night, and I can wake up in the morning. This morning I actually got up and watched the sunrise, because I thought it was going to be a pretty sunrise after all the rain that we ended up with yesterday. Yep, we went from freezing cold, ice cubed cold. You know, my pond, if you're not on Twitter, you haven't seen it, but my pond was frozen over, solidly frozen over. The pump was still running, but the pond was frozen, completely frozen, and for a week. So I thought, well, you know, wow. And then as soon as the temperature got above freezing, we started getting rain, and it was about 45, so we didn't even get any snow. But we got a lot of rain, and that was yesterday. And so I thought this morning we might have a really pretty sunrise, because a lot of times after a rainy day you do, but we didn't. We had a very foggy morning, and the fog was pretty too, but it was not the morning I expected, so I didn't get to see that beautiful sunrise. But I enjoy watching the sunrise, and I enjoy watching the sunset, and so I do try and do these things. But anyways, you want to do the things that make you the happiest. So persuade yourself to do what is going to make you laugh and giggle and have a good day, and leave those yucky cookies, those yucky thoughts behind, and just think about the yummy stuff, the good stuff. And what you did accomplish instead of what you didn't accomplish. Now today I'm going to do my leg lifts because I'm sitting here looking at it saying I haven't done them in over a week. Well, in 5 days. So that's almost a week. So I haven't done them in a while. So I really need to do my leg lifts. And so I am going to sit here and say, I really need to do my leg lifts. I'm going to do my leg lifts until I start to do my leg lifts. And this is how I'm going to use the power of persuasion to battle my desire to skip these because they're hard. And, a lot of times in life, the hardest thing to do is the most rewarding. And so that is how I'm going to look at my leg lifts today. I am going to look at them as being more rewarding so that I can persuade myself into doing them. And I'm not going to think about the yucky thought of, oh my gosh, this is going to leave my legs sore. And I don't want to do them because it's going to leave my legs sore. Now, muscle soreness and muscle spasms are two different things. The soreness means I've worked the muscles, and I don't want to make them too sore. But at the same time, I need to use them. If you don't use them, you lose them. And so the soreness, when it's something that's a really difficult exercise, is a good thing. And that soreness will go away as you do more of them and they become easier. And I know this because I've done it before and I was able to do 30 leg lifts without any problem before. So I'll be able to do it again. So let's change our minds. Use the power of persuasion if you need to. I'm going to think these are not yucky leg lifts. These are the yummy kind. And they're going to make me feel better. So therefore, I will persuade myself to do them again. Oh my gosh, my time is up. And it just started, really, y'all. But my time is up. So let me say goodbye. And I love you guys. I hope that my flip-floppy show was not too flip-floppy. And that everybody has had a wonderful week and is going to continue to have a wonderful week. And, I thank you all for listening. And I thank Erica Lyons Richardson for creating this great network. Y'all have the best time of your lives. And remember to persuade yourself that you're in the yummy state, not the yucky. You're in the yummy. And always, always, always love yourselves, all of you, no matter what. Thanks again for listening. Till next time. Bye-bye.